Hey there, welcome to The Empowered Edge, the podcast that gives you nutrition, mindset, and habit building strategies that actually work. I'm your host, Jenna Hostetler, registered dietitian, certified neurocoach, and your go-to guide to break free from burnout, cut through the health noise, and reclaim control of your body and brain. Each week, you'll get practical, science-backed strategies so you can stop second-guessing yourself, sharpen your focus, and finally feel like the woman who leads her life, not just survives it. Hey there. Today we're wrapping up the conversation with Chelsea Haines from the Gut Health Agency. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by all the expert advice out there, this episode is for you. Chelsea brings some powerful insights on how to stop second-guessing your instincts so you can start getting results without all of the stress. Whether you're struggling with gut issues or not, what she shares today is relevant to anyone trying to take back control of their health. Let's dive in.
You mentioned a little bit, the immune system and, how our gut plays a big role in that. Can you speak a little bit to antibiotics and probiotics?
Definitely. So again, we will always say we combine Eastern and Western over here and bless that medicine. So antibiotics are life-saving medications. And what happens when you drop a bomb on a city? It kills everything. It's not just going to kill the bad guys. It's going to also affect everybody else living in that city. Same thing with antibiotics. They are antimicrobials, and your gut microbiome is full of microbials and bacteria. That is what it is. So when we look at certain things, like for example, SIBO, if you have small intestine bacterial overgrowth, bacteria from your large intestine has grown into your small intestines. Now your bacteria are not where they're supposed to be. We might need to address that depending on how acute the situation is with a round of antibiotics. If you do not want to do that, we can also address it with some herbal supplements that are also going to be antimicrobial. Garlic is a fantastic antimicrobial. The active ingredient in it is alicidin, which I always pronounce wrong, and is really, really good for keeping microbes at bay, right? If we can imagine the microbiome is like a coral reef, you need to have the predators and the non-predators both thriving for our coral reefs to stay alive, right? You need the shark to eat the fish that are overeating the algae, and then you need the algae to feed the fish that are feeding the sharks. It has to go both ways, right? It's the same thing in the gut. So, there are supportive bacteria, or what we might call normal bacteria, and there are opportunistic bacteria. These are the bacteria that we do need certain levels of, but if they start to overgrow, we have problems like SIBO or yeast and candida infections, whether it's on your skin or other microbiomes in your body, your orifices, your groin, your mouth, your ears, your eyes, all have their own microbiomes. If anyone has ever dealt with hives before, then they can relate to this. Women particularly will have problems with yeast infections, vaginal yeast infections after rounds of antibiotics for this exact reason. The troubling part about this is that opportunistic bacteria are exactly what they are. They seize the opportunity to take hold, and antibiotics are great to keep them at bay, but we can also become resistant to them. These bacteria are smart. They know how to thrive, and they know how to take over, especially if your microbiome, normal bacteria, is not supported. And unfortunately, with the standard American diet, we can't handle fiber, right? We need a diversity of fiber. So as it is, our normal bacteria is already kind of struggling to survive. We want to give those guys the best chance possible. So supplementing with probiotics can be very helpful in that situation. If you take your antibiotic, it's going to kill everything. So if you're on a round of antibiotics, it may be helpful to take probiotics 2 hours before or after your antibiotics. It's going to at least help to balance out and feed your good gut bugs while you're also dropping bombs on the city. It's like we got to bring water to the thirsty while we're trying to kill all the bad guys, right? It's like all these analogies that could be helpful to think about. And again, long term, we have to understand the root cause. Why has the environment of your intestines what has created this environment so that the opportunistic bacteria are thriving in the first place? So SIBO, again, is not a root cause. That is a side effect, just like food sensitivities, to a deeper issue. A lot of times, the root cause, believe it or not, is stress. Stress, and it's physical stress, it's chemical stress, it's mechanical stress, it's emotional stress, right? All the different types of stress that we experience every day in our environment, in our internal environment, in our emotions, in our relationships, in our work. They all stress our body out. When we are in a stressed state, the body shuts digestion down, period. Let's bring it back to pandemic times, right? When we were in a crisis situation, only the essential businesses were allowed to stay open. According to our body, when we are in a crisis, digestion is not an essential business, so the doors close. We can go for days without eating food, weeks without eating food, as long as we're hydrated. Digestion is not an essential business, so the doors close. What does that mean? If you are in need of a round of antibiotics and something is happening in your body, it means that digestion has probably been perpetually turned off over and over and over and over again. We stop producing stomach acid. Motility is either too fast or too slow. So you're either dealing with bouts of diarrhea or constipation or bloat, serious bloat, which is probably coming from dysbiosis, too many bad bugs, not enough good bugs, or too many good bugs, which I'm going to circle this back around to probiotics, which is also not a good thing. Too much of a good thing is too much. So taking a step back, looking at why is my body an opportune environment for these things to be happening? It's probably because somewhere along the way, the digestive process has been turned off because your brain had said, we're in a crisis. We need to focus on survival, focus on breathing, focus on brain function, focus on heart beating. We don't need to worry about digestion. So a big part of this process is getting digestion turned back on, which we can use supplements on that journey to help us along the way. But long term, it's not ideal to be on them forever. And it's the same thing with probiotics. So while you're on a round of antibiotics, it can be helpful to support the good gut bugs with a broad spectrum probiotic along the way. And this is why testing is so important, because I can't tell you how many people have come into our clinic saying, hey, I'm having all these symptoms, but I'm taking all these probiotics and I'm doing all these great things for my gut health. And then we do a test and their normal bacteria is way off the charts to where it should be, right? So taking it back to the coral reef, maybe the normal bacteria, we can look at the algae in this situation. If there's no predators, or if we're overflowing the coral reef with more algae, we're feeding the algae, feeding the algae, feeding the algae. Now the algae has taken over and it's too much. And it's causing imbalances in the coral reef. It's causing problems in your microbiome. You have too much normal bacteria. So let's pull back on those supplements that you didn't need in the first place, that you started taking because somebody else told you that you should take them for your gut health, but you didn't listen to your own symptoms and reassess the whole situation. So again, there's a time and place for medication. There's a time and place for supplements, and, bringing it back again to that root cause understanding. Why is my body currently an opportunistic environment for all these other things to be happening can be really, really helpful.
Yeah. And again, a supplement is supposed to be a supplement.
Yes.
It's not a reason to not have a good diet. But on that note, you say, real food grown from the earth should not be a problem. What about, the quality of food that we're seeing lately? The quality of the ground and the soil it's being grown in, stuff that's being sprayed on it. How do you navigate that? How do you even know if what you're eating is what it should be?
Such a good question, Jenna. It makes me want to go just take a deep breath. Let's do it together.
Yep, reduce our stress.
Yes. We love easy buttons at the Gut Health Agency. We also know that stress is a root cause. So if you are stressing out about your food and the quality of the soil, it's no matter how much money you spend on food and, doing all these things, if you're still stressed about it, it's going to counteract all your efforts, right? We always say the doing, just like supplements are supplemental to what you're doing in life for gut health, the doing, all the things, all the supplements, all your to-do list of how to be healthy will fall short if who you are being is stressed AF. So there, of course, are some logistical means to navigate a world that is highly toxic, full of chemicals, and that's to start choosing better options. I am also a clean beauty advocate because gut health is not just about what goes in our body, but also what goes on our body. There are hormone disrupting chemicals in basically everything that is sold at pharmacies and the body shop. Like, don't put perfumes and makeup and oils and lotions on that are constantly disrupting your hormones. And hormone health and gut health are the same thing, basically. Another topic for another day. And I would never say, Jenna, oh my God, you have all your skincare products from CVS. You have to spend $500 swapping everything out right now, because that's probably going to stress you out more than the benefits of swapping to cleaner products. And this is the same with food, right? So we always say, look at the easy button. So there's a couple of things to know. Number one, there is a great resource out there called the Environmental Working Group. This is a free resource. It is a nonprofit organization. They have an app that is fantastic. You can run all of your products, all of your cleaning, household cleaning chemicals, anything that comes in a box or a package, and you can run it by them and see what the rating is. So first and foremost, easy button, right? If it's green, it's good. If it's not, maybe choose a different option. This is where choice really comes into play. If you start thinking, okay, I know I need to start making better options. How can I do that financially and logistically? One at a time. Let's use up that face wash from CVS, and instead of going to buy a new one, buy a new one from somebody like myself who promotes non-toxic skincare products, right? Like, you're going to go buy another face lotion someday anyway. So why not buy one that you know is not going to disrupt your skin microbiome and your gut microbiome and your hormones? So one step at a time. This isn't something that you have to do every single day or right now, right? Like, you don't have to flip your whole house right now. That is going to work against us. Other things, for example, like water. We know that tap water is polluted with chemicals like fluoride and chlorine that are meant to kill bugs that at one point in time lived in our water and maybe caused health issues, right? There are places in the world that deal with things like chronic parasites because they don't have the means of public sewage systems. But again, what do we sacrifice in order to have better quality water, quote unquote, is now we're introducing ourselves to all these chemicals. So what can you do? Get a good quality filter. If you can't afford like one of the top ones, get yourself a Brita. Like, choose a better option for yourself and your budget and your family, and trust and know that I'm doing the best I can and that is enough. This is a huge mindset. That the best that I can do is enough, because it's the best I can do, and I can go to sleep at night knowing that I'm doing the best that I can. And when I go to bed at night knowing that, I sleep better, which is going to promote better health, better regeneration, better natural detox. Now, when you do start to filter your water, for example, you're going to also filter out all the good stuff like potassium and sodium and magnesium that might be living in tap water. It might not be. So you want to supplement that. And this is where supplements can be really helpful. And I like to get my supplements in different means. So not just taking 100 different caps every day, because that can be hard on your digestion. It's hard to remember to do. So buy, for example, trace minerals. I have the link on FullScript. Don't buy it on Amazon. Don't buy any supplements on Amazon, guys. Amazon has even come out blatantly and said, don't trust our supplements. We don't know where they come from. So don't trust Amazon. come to a trusted source, come find me on Instagram. I'll direct you to a trusted source. For $25, you can buy what's called trace minerals. It has magnesium, sodium, potassium, all the things that you actually need for the H2O molecule to pass into your cell is potassium and sodium. It's why when you're hungover or sick as heck and you go to the doctors, they give you a banana bag of sodium, essentially salt water directly to your blood. You need sodium, you need potassium, you need magnesium. For $25, you can get a bottle of this. What we do is we filter our water, we get a glass jar, we fill it up, we put about 8 drops in the jar, and we stick that in the fridge. And every time it's empty, we do it again. And then that's like, it becomes a natural part of life. Do we stress out when we go out to eat and think, oh my God, are all these vegetables organic? No, because in that moment, being in the presence of friends and family over a beautiful experience is going to be more enjoyable and less stressful. And I can trust my body to digest the food that I'm eating, to absorb the nutrients from these vegetables, and to eliminate any toxins that I might consume, because it's all functioning efficiently. Because I know I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. It's the same thing with food. The second source, in addition to the EWG that's free, is they also every year pass out on the internet, just Google the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen is a list of the top 12 foods that are probably going to be mostly contaminated with pesticides and glyphosate and all these nasty things and chemicals that we don't want in our body, right? Those 12 foods, buy organic. Simple. The Clean 15 are going to be your fruits and vegetables that are less likely to be sprayed for pesticides or other things, or less likely to get into the fruit itself. So for example, a raspberry, which you just pop in your mouth, versus a banana that has a skin that you peel off, it still absorbs, but it might be less likely to be full of pesticides than the raspberry that's, I think we all have a love-hate relationship with raspberries, by the way. It's like they're always so expensive, and then they die in the fridge in like 24 hours. So that's why I always use that as an example, because like damn raspberries. I just need to get a raspberry bush. I live in Panama. It's not that easy to grow them down here. It's too hot. But I digress. Do the best you can with what you've got. Get these free resources like the Dirty Dozen, the Clean 15. Bump up your products and your household chemicals and cleaning things with Environmental Working Group's website. See the things that are like the most harmful and start with replacing those first. Use them up, throw the bottle away, and choose a better option. I have a whole list of resources for household items and skincare products and foods and all these things that I try to share for free as often as possible, because being stressed about it, what did we say, is going to turn digestion off, because it's not an essential business. And when we're living in chaos, we got to close the doors to the non-essential businesses.
I love that analogy. That's really good, really helpful, and really easy to remember.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I'm hearing you say, which I feel like goes for everything in life, is, that all or nothing mentality, where if I can't do it perfect, I might as well not do it all, is never going to serve you well. And I definitely got into this wormhole trap years ago, where you start reading all these articles and all these blogs, like all of a sudden, like, okay, I can't eat any meat because it's all horrible for me. I can't eat any fruits and vegetables because there's all these pesticides. The water I'm drinking is going to kill me. So it's like, you can like talk about analysis paralysis of like, what the heck can I do? Because everything is horrible. And so, I had to unsubscribe from everything, never look at that stuff up, because you get so bogged down with the weeds and the details that you can't even see the big picture anymore. And you're right. If you're stressed, it does not matter what you're doing. If you're chronically worried and stressed and everything is a big deal, then you're not going to enjoy life. Your health is going to take a toll, and you're not going to get anywhere. So, what is more important? Enjoying your time out at the restaurant with your family, or being stressed the whole time because this lettuce might not have been washed, in water that didn't have chlorine in it. Big picture.
Exactly. And and this is why, again, that merging in the gut health agency, which I hadn't seen otherwise, this is why finally I was like, I have to just launch a new business, because nobody is doing this. And I, as a coach, can only take people so far, right? That health coaching merged with clinical diagnosis is so helpful and so important. It's like, if I can help somebody through those mindsets, and what I'm always going to say is, number one, silence the noise. Jenna, I love that you just said I unsubscribed from all the things. Like, silence the gurus, the people in your face. Like, knowledge is power, but also when you're giving all of your power away. And again, if you're outsourcing all of your knowledge that you know about your own body, you're giving it all away. And you're now just this like tornado of stress and trying to figure it all out. And you're doing all these things. I can't tell you how many people walk through the door, the virtual door of my virtual practice, and say, Chelsea, but I'm doing all the things for gut health. And then they list it all out. And I say, I'm stressed just listening to you. How are you feeling? And they're like, yeah, I'm really stressed. It's like, well, why don't we try not doing any of those things anymore? Why don't we just do the one thing that's actually making you feel good, which is quality time with your children and your family in the afternoon, and do more of that. And it's this huge light bulb moment. Like, oh my God, you mean I don't have to, for example, this week I just spoke about the benefits of waking up and looking at the sunshine rather than your phone first thing in the morning. And I had a lot of people on Instagram replying saying, oh, I don't have time to get in the sun in the morning. Well, I'm not asking you to go put your bikini on and lay out for 3 hours. Just go stand in your kitchen window while you're making breakfast and look at the sun, or breathe in the fresh air for 3 breaths and check it off your to-do list. For my high performers, we love checking shit off the to-do list, right? It's like, yes, I accomplished that for the day. How does it make you feel to think, oh, I can do this. I don't need more time. I've just created more time by shifting who I am being internally while I'm doing the thing. 3 deep breaths in the sun in the morning, resetting my nervous system is all I need. But if I try to go out and, go for a 3-hour power walk because that's what someone told me I need to do for my morning routine, and I come back and I'm super sweaty and stressed out, and now I got to shower and get the kids ready, and it's only 6 in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, the sun's not even up yet. What did that do for you? What did that do? It only turned your digestion off. Now, when you finally eat breakfast at 1 p.m., you're probably going to get bloated and be hangry throughout the rest of the day. And nobody is going to receive the best version of you, which we all deserve the best version of you. And you deserve to be the best version of you. And we can keep making excuses and staying sick, or we can slowly start to unravel. Again, taking it back to our first 5 minutes of this conversation, we can start to unravel the beliefs and the anxiety and the overwhelm, and actually look at those very few, very small needle moving things. We like to say over here, small hinges swing really big doors. We can have the biggest door in the world. All we need is 2 tiny little hinges on there to swing it all the way open. We don't need to go busting in the door to open it up. We can, walk through the door with a little bit more grace and a little bit more ease. And actually we can weave in desire and joy and pleasure into all that too, because it's kind of fun to open a new door and to walk through it in a way that you're feeling on fire, in a good way. Like Phoenix kind of rising on fire, not like internally I'm on fire and I'm suffering in the corner somewhere.
Are you telling me that people actually can choose to enjoy it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What are you saying?
Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk? And actually, joy really is a choice, isn't it? And we've all been through trauma. All of us, every single person has experienced trauma in their life. And ultimately, our digestion, our IBD, our IBS, our anxiety is a result of that trauma. And this is from little t to capital T. I don't believe there's any difference. And how we are managing that experience with the tools that we've been given is really going to determine our outcome. So if we can shiny up the tools that we have, or if we can add a few new ones and throw some old rusty ones away, maybe we can start to now digest our life in a way where we're actually absorbing the nutrients or the life lessons that we learned from that trauma, whatever it may be, which of course that trauma was not our fault, but it is our responsibility to move forward from it or suffer. It's a choice. And simultaneously digesting those life experiences, absorbing the nutrients and eliminating what's no longer working, eliminating the toxic aspects of that experience in your life, letting it go, forgiving, working on healing those inner child wounds that we all carry and those generational wounds that get passed down to us. We live in a really cool time to be able to do these things and talk about these things with people all over the world that other generations didn't have an opportunity to talk about, during Spanish flus or world wars or other crises that we've all experienced on a global level. And, we all just went through it in the last couple of years. And I think being able to come together in a non-judgmental and curious and fun environment and community is actually how healing gets to be easy, and it gets to be sustainable and for the long term.
And we have access to so much now, as long as you don't get bogged down in those details and that that overwhelm the internet can provide. So
yes.
Where can people go to learn more about you and your services? Where can they find you?
Definitely come find me on Instagram. I am both Chelsea Haines Coaching, that is me, and Gut Health Agency on Instagram. Just at Gut Health Agency is our business account. And then you can find us at theguthealthagency.com, where we have our whole program broken down. And of course, that also links to all of the other things. We have a blog on there. We have shopping resources. If you're kind of curious about making some of those clean swaps, you can find that through that website link as well, theguthealthagency.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And definitely take advantage of those links because, again, you can find anything on Amazon, but getting it from a good source is always going to be way more value for your money. So Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a really great conversation. I'm glad you were able to shed some light on some of the crazy information out there that we're always seeing. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Jenna. This was a lot of fun. And I hope everybody got something out of it. And if you got more questions, come find me on Instagram, Chelsea Haines Coaching. I'm in the DMs every day.
Sounds awesome.
And just like last time, there is so much I could unpack, but here are my top 3 takeaways. First, a reminder if you're dealing with gut issues, SIBO is a side effect, not a root cause. Same with IBS. If your provider treats SIBO like it's just a bacteria issue, gives you antibiotics, and sends you on your way without addressing why it happened, run away, because symptom management is not the same as true healing. Second, Chelsea said, silence the gurus, silence the noise. That is exactly what we teach at Sprint Nutrition. Experts can offer guidance, but if you are constantly waiting for someone else to confirm what you already feel, you are giving your power away, and healing will be very, very difficult. Learn to trust your body. And third, trauma isn't your fault, but healing is your responsibility. What happened to you is already in the past. Whether it was a diagnosis, an injury, or years of unanswered symptoms, you have a choice. Stay stuck or move forward anyway. I shared this in episode 19 when I talked about my spinal cord injury. And we were visiting a family recently, and someone made the comment that she was so impressed by how me and my parents have dealt with everything. She actually visited us a couple years ago, and she said that just the way we set things up, the way we go and do things, the way that we have everything figured out, she was just really impressed. And I'm genuinely surprised when I hear stuff like that, because it's just normal for me. Like, it's just how life is. And she asked, how did you do it? How did you come this far? And I said, my options were to be sad and pathetic and do nothing with my life, or get over it and have a life. And I chose to get over it. And she was kind of surprised that was my answer. But that is the question that you have to ask yourself. You don't have to wait until your life is perfect. You can choose to live now with what you have, where you are, doing the best you can. And Chelsea also said that one of the mindset shifts that she encourages her clients to have is, I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough. And if you can say that with conviction because it's the truth, rather than using it as an excuse to coast, then you're good. So here's your homework for today. Ask yourself, Am I truly proud of my effort, or could I be doing more? Then grab the Goal Getter Guide from the show notes to uncover the one health goal that will change everything. Take action, stay empowered, and I'll see you next week. Okay, now before you pop off, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the one episode that could change your life. And give us a 5-star review if you learned something new today. If you want to check out all the awesome free guides, templates, and resources I've given away on this podcast, go to theneurodietitian.com/resources. You can grab anything you want, but only if you'll do it, because information without implementation is worthless. And here at the Empowered Edge, we're action takers, not excuse makers.